Let's talk about the video that this picture came from. Many of you may have seen this video going around TikTok and other sources, especially Twitter. Supposedly in this video, a Russian soldier who surrendered is being fed and given a video chat with his mom. And to be clear, I have not verified the source of this video and cannot tell you whether or not it is true or disinformation, but that's not what I want to talk about with it. Regardless of whether this video is true or made up, it is being circled around social media as a form of propaganda. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. When we hear the term propaganda, the majority of the time we instantly think to the negative, that someone is trying to influence us into a way of thinking that we shouldn't think about. And while propaganda does attempt to elicit an emotional response to guide you in a way of thinking, it doesn't necessarily have to be a negative way of thinking. Like many things, propaganda has an intent and an impact. And regardless of what the intent of that original poster was, there's a certain impact that we should be having when we watch this. And that impact should be not dehumanizing enemy combatants even during a time of war. During war, it's very easy to see your enemy is less than human. In fact, there's many types of military propaganda aimed at soldiers to convince them and make them believe that their enemy is less than human. The idea is if you view your enemy as not as human as you, it should make it easier for you to kill them. That somehow it should change the way that you think so that you don't have the trauma from taking another human's life. And if you ask almost any veteran who's had to pull the trigger, it doesn't help. There are many officials and commanders who will believe that having this dehumanizing view actually causes conflicts to be over quickly because your soldiers will fight harder against a dehumanized enemy. And to be honest, that is normally not the case. Dehumanizing your enemy in conflict will actually prolong that conflict. When your enemy knows that you view them as less than human and that you will treat them as less than human, they are less likely to lay down their arms, stop fighting, and surrender. Treating enemy combatants inhumanely emboldens your enemy to continue fighting. Enemy soldiers who may not want to fight, if they know that they can surrender, lay down their arms, and they will still be treated humanely and with dignity, are more likely to actually do that. So this type of propaganda may actually be good, may actually help slow or stop the fighting. Soldiers who do not want to fight, who've been sent by a government who's not properly supplying them or taking care of them, may lay down their arms if they know that they can improve their situation. So while this may be propaganda, I hope it's also not disinformation. Because if this is true, and this is how the Ukrainians are treating surrendering Russian soldiers, this may be their biggest asset in the war yet.